Okay, so today we're going to be doing a dispatch. We're going to create a dispatch. Now, there are a few different types of dispatches. You have normal, everyday, regular, field exercise, go to the SSA type dispatches. You have off-post dispatches for mission type situations or maybe training. And then you have alert dispatches. Those are the three typical types. There may be more, but those are the ones that I know of offhand. There are two ways to dispatch in G-Army. One is authorization not required. With that one, you need a commander or the commander's representative to sign off on a memo saying that somebody else other than themselves are allowed to dispatch equipment, because at that point they lose the ability to manage that equipment while it's dispatched. And this is typically for maintenance oriented situations, like for road tests, for maintenance when it's coming out of the shop or out of service, whatever it is. That's usually the only real case where this comes into play. The other one is the authorization is required, and that is by the commander or a commander's representative. So they will get an email when you create the dispatch, and then when they sign it, you will get an email notification within GCSS-Army saying that it has been approved, and you can print out said dispatch. There are two key things that you want to make sure that you have from the operator before you dispatch, or at least this is in my opinion, and it's typically a staple within any unit that you go to, is one, they need to have already completed the 5098 of before to ensure that the truck is still fully mission capable. And in some cases you may require, or your unit may require, maintenance personnel to do additional checks, because there's some things they can see that operators can't, that they're prone to seeing. So there's that. And the other thing is to make sure that the operator is licensed. They should have an actual physical paper license signed by the commander and still active on hand. They shouldn't come to you saying, well, I don't have my license. You can see in the system whether they have a license or not, and whether they're licensed on the equipment that they're trying to dispatch. But that's not the right answer. They should have their license. Outside of that, that is your responsibility if you are a clerk to ensure that you have the right stuff before you dispatch it. If you're a platoon leader, platoon sergeant, team leader, team sergeant, whatever it may be, whatever your title is, you need to ensure that you have a logbook, and that logbook has all proper documentation within it. Aside from all that, that's a completely different video. But today we're going to go ahead and get on the computer, and I'm going to show you how to create the D1 notification dispatch. Now, this is all going to start from the equipment situation. So I'm already in there because I put some filters in to make this process a little bit easier for the tutorial. So if you want to pause right now and get to where I am and choose a piece of equipment, go ahead and do so. I'll wait. All right, so we're going to choose. I've already broken it down and put a filter in to only have available and dispatch open, so that it just makes my life a little bit easier. And you can do the same, or if you already know the bumper number, it's not important, but just for sake, this makes it easier. So I'm going to choose a piece of equipment that has no other notifications for it. It's fully mission capable, and we're going to highlight it and then click on the D1. So create D1 notification. So the first thing you need to do is put in what you're dispatching it for. So in our case, this is a tutorial. It's an exercise, so I'm putting in tutorial exercise. Next thing is you need to choose the date in which you want it to end. Now, your unit or the mission dictates when that ends based on the MO or the mission, or maybe the SOP. So make sure you understand what your guidelines are. We want to choose a time. I typically just choose whatever time shows up. It's perfectly fine for me. And then we're going to go down and choose the function. Here is actually who is operating it, whether it's the primary, a passenger, or an alternate operator. So this kind of not necessarily just saying whether they're licensed to operate the piece of equipment. Maybe it's just a way to determine who is in that piece of equipment with other people. It's kind of like an accountability thing. So we're going to choose primary operator. Here you're going to put your personnel number. So if they have their license, which they should, you have that already, so you can put that in, or if not, you can look them up by their name, but you're going to need to know what their birthday is and maybe even their DOD ID number. So we're going to put in my personnel number, hit enter, and then it's going to bring up my information. Now you can leave it like this right here, and as you see right here, it says NARQ. So NARQ is no authorization required. So if you want to change that to authorization required, you just click on it, and then you're going to click number 20, which says authorization required, approval required. So you click on 20, otherwise it defaults to 10. So we're going to leave it as it is and dispatch it. So next thing you need to do is put in process. Okay, it says that I am qualified. Now right here, if that person is not qualified, say that they come without a license and you find it in your heart to go ahead and dispatch it, it's going to tell you that they're not qualified. Or if this is a case where you are dispatching a piece of equipment for a learner's permit and they are not licensed, but they have a licensed operator as their TC, then you will put them as the primary and the TC will be the alternate, and then it will let you know that they are qualified to operate it. Once you have finished all this, all you're going to do is save, because otherwise you're practicing. It's going to tell you that it's been created. You're going to click OK. As you see here, it still says that it's available. So what we're going to do is we're going to refresh, and then it's going to tell us that our dispatch is open. Now, if you had clicked for it to have authorization required or approval required, it will also still say dispatch is open, even though it hasn't been approved by that approving authority. So what we're going to do is here you have the dispatch is open. We're going to click on notifications, and since there's no others, we're just going to click OK. And as you can see, we have our dispatch here. Now at this point, you can go up here and click on this and print out said dispatch. Alright, so now we have that dispatch open, and we can go up here and you can print it, or you can actually export it as a PDF and email it to somebody, however you want to do it, whatever floats your boat and makes you happy. Alright guys, you can see it's a fairly simple process. I'm going to make a completely different video for closing out the dispatch, because it's its own individual steps. So look for that. I'll have a link up here shooting you straight to it. But as you can see, it's fairly simple. Just make sure that you don't just dispatch something just because somebody says they need it dispatched. Make sure that you know what your guidelines are, what your left and right limits are, and you'll be okay. Thanks for watching, guys. Hopefully you got something from it. If you have, give me a thumbs up. Leave a comment below if you have any questions, concerns. If you haven't subscribed already, please go ahead and do so. That just helps the channel grow even more, and other people find it that much easier. So again, thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next one.